David Muthoka, KTN News, Nairobi.
Controversial former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko can breathe a sigh of relief after the anti-corruption court acquitted him in a 20 million shilling corruption case. Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti ruled that the evidence submitted by the prosecution is not sufficient to prove the charges against Sonko. Director of Public Prosecutions Nairobi Haji says he will appeal against the court's decision. Sonko is still facing other corruption cases of alleged misappropriation of 357 million shillings from City Hall.
For 3 years, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has been battling the multi-million shilling corruption case in court. Alongside businessman Antonio Tieno Ombok, Sonko was charged with 8 counts in the corruption case following allegations of receiving kickbacks amounting to 20 million shillings from companies that traded with Nairobi City County during his tenure as government. Among the charges, money laundering, conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption, conflict of interest, and acquisition of proceeds of crime. 19 witnesses testified in the case. The prosecution submitted 113 documentary exhibits to support their case. But Sonko can breathe a sigh of relief. Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti ruled that the evidence submitted by the prosecution is not sufficient to prove the charges and that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case since none of the 19 witnesses proved that the ex-governor was paid kickbacks in exchange of contracts to some companies. After the acquittal, Sonko blamed unnamed politicians for instigating the corruption case. He claimed there was no evidence that he received kickbacks during his tenure at City Hall. But Director of Public Prosecutions Nairobi Haji says he will appeal against the ruling, claiming there is a strong case to secure conviction against Sonko.
We are going to challenge that decision based on the fact that that charge sheet was not defective. And the magistrate himself was involved in pre-trial, and we have records of him going through the charge sheets and agreeing and giving an approval for us to proceed. If it was defective at the pre-trial stage, it would have been brought. But again, I don't want to delve in that. We will go to court and we will appeal against that decision.
Sonko is still battling several corruption cases over alleged embezzlement of 357 million shillings from City Hall. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Court orders propel